Hi, my name's Jack Shepherd. We're here at Boss HQ and we're looking at the RC-202 loop station. Now it's a tabletop unit and I'm a guitarist, so that might seem a little strange at first, but I find that when I'm writing for live performance, first and foremost is my audience. And I'm able to connect with them a lot more directly and a lot more easily when they can see what I'm doing and really relate to it. People are used to seeing DJs, things like that. This looks a bit like a DJ controller. And when I really need to do stuff under the hood with my feet, I can as well. Like a lot of guitarists, I was a little bit intimidated by having a tabletop looper and having to take my hands away from the instrument. But the main reason I ended up going with the 202 and the 505 is that you can communicate with your audience around electronic music a lot more with your hands than you can with your feet. I found that my songs and my writing process kind of focuses on who's going to be listening to it a lot more than it does on me listening back to it. Another thing about the RC-202 is that when I have all of the track effects and all of the sort of dynamic effects right in front of me with the audience able to see them, if I need to improvise something or I have an idea that I can't get to with my feet, I can get to it really, really easily with my hands and everyone can see what's going on. So for instance, if I'm looping something up like and if I want to put a filter on that here, someone can see me doing that with my hands and relate to that a lot more easily than if I was using an expression pedal or something like that. Similarly with your beat repeats, all that kind of stuff, I just find that it's a lot easier to do things quickly and do things in a way that makes sense to the audience when I'm not thinking about looking down. And that's the other thing. When you're performing to anyone, even if you're the guitarist in the band instead of doing a one-man band looping thing, you want to be looking down the barrel of who you're performing to and making them feel like they're connecting with it. So that's me on why I end up using hand loopers, and I've used just about every looper there is. But yeah, the 202 and the 505 for me are really the way to connect. So now I'm going to take you through my track phase and how we got some of those specific sounds and effects out of the RC-202. So we're going to talk about how to go through doing your first loop using input effects and track effects. So if you're anything like me, your first question is how to do your first loop when you have to have your hands on your guitar. The RC-202 lets you plug in a control pedal on the back panel or MIDI to control anything on the unit if you're that way inclined. But in my case, I do a lot of beatboxing, so I do my first loop with my fingers. There's a big button on the bottom left corner, and I've just used the input effects, which are on the left hand side, to turn on an EQ to get my vocals sounding a little bit bassier for that beatbox. And then I use a reverb just for the snares or the claps. So we're going to turn it on and off every time there's a snare beat. So what we're going to do is hit the big record/play button down in the bottom left for track 1. We've got the EQ on, and we've got my finger over the reverb effect ready to put it on just for those claps. So it goes like this. So when that's going around, then you can start thinking about your second loop over here. I'm going to put some snares on and some guitar, yeah? With a little bit of delay for good measure. Overdubbing in orange. Once you've got a couple of loops going, you can use the track effects. They're on your right hand side. In this case, I'm going to use a filter to kind of take it down, almost like I'm going to do a bass drop, which is exactly what I'm going to do. We're going to go back to the input effects, and now we've got guitar to bass ready to do a bass line. So we might filter it back up over the next few bars like this. Off and record. There you go, you've got your whole track going. You can turn off the input effects, maybe put some reverb, maybe a bit of delay for the vocal. That is.
So at 9 in the morning, my day is still dawning, and I am still yawning my tune. Give all my attention, but forgot to mention that I still have so much to do. My time wasn't wasted, but I haven't tasted the life that my soul wants me to. It may sound conjectured, but please don't correct it. It's really the best thing to do. I don't know much about music, but I know I gotta find a way to use it. I spread love to your people who are choosing to have love for the world and the music. I said I don't know much about music, but I know I gotta find a way to use it. I spread love to your people who are choosing to have love for the world and the music.
Then you can keep going. Use various track effects to take the vibe up and down. Play with dynamics a bit. We can slice it. Yeah, and so you can keep going around. You can use input effects to add more layers on. You can use output effects or track effects. You can layer those with each other as well. So you can record track effects back into the loops. All sorts of crazy stuff. And you can do all these things with foot pedals as well. If you grab a MIDI controller or just a double foot switch, plus have a few different options you can use. And yeah, have fun with it.